Did you see the size of the fella?
He's giant. He's fucking terrifying. He's a scary human being.
All he needs to do is touch you. Just a tip. And you're going down, baby. You're going down.
Every fighter has secrets to his success, and Alex Pereira's is his electrifying aura, which is elevating rapidly even as we speak. Currently, he has one of the strongest fighting mentalities in MMA sport, and you must be wondering, what makes him such a badass? In today's video, we will cover the main reasons for his powerful presence and what distinguishes him from many others. We have witnessed many great Brazilian champions, but Alex Pereira is truly one of a kind. So stay until the end to find out what makes him such that he collects the souls of his opponents from fight to fight. If you're new to the Clash of MMA channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button with your left hook and enjoy the ride that takes us straight to Brazil.
Uma condição de vida legal, né? Meu pai pedreiro, minha mãe dona de casa.
For years, tough upbringing stories have proven to be the ultimate base for MMA champion material. Fighters who grew up in poverty have proven to be extra successful, but growing up in the favelas of Sao Paulo raises the limits of misery to a whole other level. The children of Brazil dream of professional sports careers as the only way out of all the dangers brought in by street life. However, Poatan pursued a sports career to pull himself out of something much worse than poverty.
Comecei a trabalhar cedo, né, em uma borracharia, com 12 anos de idade. 12 anos de idade, fazendo trampo ali de adulto, entendeu?
If you've ever had your tires changed, you saw how physically demanding that job is, especially for someone so young and skinny as Pereira. Well, Alex had no other options. However, hard work proved an extra asset for Pereira's strength only later in his sports career. But this is just one of the bad things that turned into something positive in the bigger picture. Thanks to his first job, Alex developed the ability in his fists to change the appearance of his opponent's faces instead of tires.
Brazilian, and he touches you and you go to sleep. It's the weirdest thing. He just touches you and you fall asleep.
But that was only the tip of the iceberg in his difficult childhood. While his compatriot Charles Oliveira chased his dream of becoming a world BJJ champion at 12, Pereira drowned his sorrows in the devil's potion, even before the job in the tire shop. Over time, the young boy became a hardcore alcoholic, with liters of alcohol flowing through his body. Even if he had grown up in rich countries, addiction would have made him poor, let alone in the Brazilian favelas, making his situation even more difficult.
Como aprendi a trabalhar, ser cara bacana e tal, aprendi também a beber. E isso eu não tive um controle, né, com a bebida. E pô, cada vez eu ia bebendo mais, E nesse tempo aí, eu tentei parar, porque eu ficava assim, não, quando eu quiser parar, eu paro.
Every day he would tell himself, just one more. But that sentence turned into years. Fortunately, at the age of 21, Alex found a way out of his own ruin by replacing one addiction with another. It was the sport of kickboxing that the Poatan credits as a salvation. This was another negative thing that blossomed into something that would later add to the indestructibility of his mentality.
Guerreiro Poatan, meu nome é Alex Pereira, tenho 26 anos e sou do Brasil, do guerreiro, a direção de sempre estar pronto para a guerra.
As Sean Strickland says, here's the thing, you guys. Well, here's the thing about addicts. When they leave something they were addicted to that was killing them, they get a special driving force allowing them to live lives differently. It's not easy, but when a person succeeds, he evolves to a mentally stronger version of himself, more modest, more open-minded, and more happy. Recovered addicts are probably some of the toughest and most capable people you will ever meet. Our UFC champion here is a living example, and his mental strength to give up alcohol is reflected in his indomitable spirit today, giving extra points to his unique aura. How do you break a man who has spent part of his life at rock bottom? Well, you don't. An important detail in Alex's puzzle was his first coach, Wilson Nunes, aka Ninja, who spotted his young martial talent. Nunes knew the young Pereira needed a firmer mentoring hand to achieve the unimaginable. Throughout the mending process, Weira recognized something unique about Alex.
Cultura indígena. Cheguei em casa no mesmo dia, perguntei, minha mãe falou que os avós dela, do meu pai também, eram índios e acho que mais confiante, querendo trabalhar uma imagem, né, do índio, resgatar essa origem, né, esse movimento, né, do arco e flecha. Depois eu faço uma sequência junto com a minha música indígena e foi assim que tudo começou.
He learned that his roots are tied to the Potaxo tribe, which Pereira now represents with every UFC appearance, becoming their hope for the fight to preserve what's left of their ethnicity. Hence his notorious nickname Poatan, translated to hands of stone in their language. Ubiranan, the Potaxo chieftain, met Poatan in 2014 when Weira took him to Bahia. The chief declared that he saw in him the same fighting spirit that had been present among his men since 1500, when they were the first to face the Portuguese. They've seen their fair share of battles, and now it's up to Alex to lead fights on behalf of the tribe on the world MMA scene. Visiting the Potaxo tribe became the basis of his motivation, preparations, and celebration after the victory. Ubiranan introduced Alex to the tribe, and Pereira pledged to help their community through his upcoming fights. If this isn't Hollywood material, we don't know what is.
Yeah, there's some banger walkout songs, man, but Poeton, when that fucker walks out,
I didn't even hear it. Is it crazy?
He's the scariest when he walks out because he stands there. He walks out like this.
Yeah, I know.
And then he stands
I
there,
never hear the
draws
song.
the
Yeah.
bow back and goes, ah! And then he throws a couple of punches.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
He does
At this point, we have a hard worker from a tire shop who beat addiction and embraced his ancient roots. We believe this clarifies why his name freezes the blood in the veins of his opponents, but unfortunately for them, there is even more to this man. Although Alex has proven to be a one-man army, he is not alone in his conquests. He is a part of the team that other fighters would wish for. Glover Teixeira and Plinio Cruz are the coaches who make and break Pereira. Cruz is a Muay Thai specialist, BJJ, and Judo black belt whose credentials make Alex's game in the cage as complete as possible. The second wing of Potan's team consists of UFC veteran and ex-champion Glover Teixeira, who built his long before Alex was even on the map. With 42 fights under his belt, Glover is a Pandora's box of martial knowledge, and for Alex to have him as a coach is like a cheat code for MMA. He's the man who introduced him to MMA in 2015 and then led him to 2 UFC titles. We must not forget that Teixeira was the man who coached Alex to exact revenge against Hill and Prohaska, to whom Glover had previously lost.
And Alex really listened to that, man. Alex has actually watched that speech again and just to tell Glover, man, you really know how to draw the best out of me. And I also think you spend a lot of time grappling with a guy like Glover Teixeira, that's going to help you out a lot.
The combination of the two coaches' knowledge, experience, and Alex's legendary kickboxing background makes Pereira's corner one of the best in the world today. But these guys are not a strict business. They're close friends who know each other inside and out, which enables Alex to have elite preparations and knowledge of sports matters. Teamwork makes the dream work, and it is no wonder that the fighters think Poatan uses sorcery to achieve success. That sorcery is called a team that makes Pereira's aura sharp and dangerous.
And this has surprised a lot of people in the sport that Alex Pereira was able to come in with no grappling experience and be able to rise to the top so fast.
Their expertise is reflected in guiding Pereira in his unorthodox fighting style, making him impossible to be coached by someone else. We have entered the era of MMA where strange styles win fights, such as Strickland and Dricus du Plessis, and in our case, Alex. He is the only man who can fight the way he fights. His techniques often seem technically incorrect, but his coaches didn't force him to build from scratch. Rather, they sharpened his existing style and built on it further in a way that suited him perfectly. His unorthodoxness on fight night speaks volumes about his team's creation and ability to execute the plan to win. Alex was a one-dimensional fighter who wasn't given much of a chance against the top UFC fighters. But you look at him now. The unorthodox and one-dimensional Poatan is a UFC champion who shows incredible growth with every appearance.
He was just different. Like the power was different, the style was different. It's a weird style. Hands down, weird movement, super technical, man. Like confusing. Like you see him, you say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He just hits hard. Negative, incorrect, completely unique style, very technical and very well thought out.
However, none of this would be possible if Alex didn't have a warrior mentality. Murderous, yet humble. One would think that such a successful guy walks on clouds, but the size of Poatan's ego is shorter than Alexander Volkanovski. He's always willing to learn something new and repeat basic techniques all day if his coaches require it. Even when defeat knocks on his door, it doesn't bother him. It was through his losses that he showed what kind of a mind he has and that his self-confidence is indestructible.
A família do adversário triste e vocês dando risada. Agora é a sua vez, só que pra você ficar doente desse jeito aqui, pô, você não vai assistir mais minhas lutas. E, cara...
He was knocked out and submitted, but he would easily get back into the winning column as if he had never felt defeat. It's all fun and games when you're dominant and unstoppable with a streak of victories, but what separates a champion from an ordinary fighter is his comeback. This stone-faced man is a true example of stoicism, which is the result of everything he has been through and makes his aura complete. His style and record are far from perfect, but his heart and mind will walk through anything and everything. Win or lose, Pereira shows only one mood and one facial expression. On fight day, thinking about nothing but the conquest ahead, Alex's mind is blank and his body is ready for war. On the day of battle, nothing matters but the battle before him. Although he does his job in a jungle full of dangerous and trained assassins, everyone takes cover when they hear the footsteps of Poatan because it can only mean one thing. Alex Pereira is on a headhunt.